There we go. I am live. Welcome to MacBean Scottish Fitness here at the lovely Edge Fitness here in Streeter, Illinois. And the subject of the day was naked pickleball. Story at 11. Everybody, thanks for hitting the thumbs up. I was going to do some sort of poll yesterday and I forgot what it was. Oh, yeah, I know what it would be. Let's start a poll. Should I do more shirtless lifting? Don't know. All right, here we go. All right, thanks for popping in. Ray, looks like you're in. Sorry, I started a little bit late. Let's get warmed up here in the bar. Cold day. It was like got down about 15 degrees last night. Had to let the cat out, and about 10 minutes later, it was meowing at the door. See, I took care of business. So let me in. It's cold out here. Okay, I'm gonna measure this bar. Make sure it's a 45-pound bar. Pretty sure it is. But I want to make sure. Yeah, it is. All right. The bar felt light. The bar is a 45-pound bar. Right? All righty. Woohoo! Shirtless there. Let me get those singles out. There we go. Hey, might be one way. Da 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 da.
Two ways to look at it. Yeah.
Hit that
Depends on the day. Right.
hit that super chat. Can't stay on though. Just warn you, I'm Scottish. Oh, everybody, thanks for coming in. Title is 405. You can't do that after 60 years old. And it is kind of been a response to a couple of videos out there. One was where Steve Shaw from Massive Iron, he put out a video a while ago. It was a short why you can't bench 315. And I guess it kind of ruffled a lot of people's feathers. You know, a lot of people did some videos to counteract what he was doing. And I think what he was trying to say is what would stop you from doing that? You know, it was, but I said, well, I sure got your video out there. And he did. And he responded to that with a big heart. And I said, it gives me an idea what my Friday title is going to be. Because I do get some comments. Oh, I'm just kidding on that, Ray. I don't want to have to be stripping here on YouTube. I might get a strike. So you'll be moving to South Carolina, though. My son lives in South Carolina. So if you make that move to South Carolina, chances are, one of these times I'm out visiting, we'll be able to hook up. Yeah, he lives out there by Charleston. So he's liking that warm weather, even though he complained about it initially. About this time of the year, he doesn't seem to be complaining about it too much. MacBean's OnlyFans account. Yeah, there you go. I don't think I'd make much money on that. Jason, good morning. Glad you got to join in. So I did make it to the shower, even though I got up plenty of time to do it. The wife actually woke me up at 6 a.m. She's been feeling under the weather, and because she teaches, we did a instant test on her, but she tested out okay. So here I'm up, an hour and a half earlier than usual, no problem. And then cooked breakfast, yay. Had my coffee, was all ready to roll, and then I took a nap, which I needed. So the nap refreshed me. So instead of going out the shower, I came here to Streeter because it's closer and allow me to get more stuff done. I'll probably try to go out there tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a kind of a fun exercise program. So some of the comments I got yesterday on my back one is that exercise has no benefit and you shouldn't be doing it at your age. So that was the second reason that I put up this title. And also because of my Instagram account, where some people were saying, they didn't believe I was lifting this much weight. And then, I had a few that are my age, if not older, who bench more than I do, get on there and says, yeah, that definition no longer holds true. There are more of us at my age group that bench heavy or lift heavy than you may realize. It's just that probably a lot of them are not doing much with their media accounts, and the only reason I am is my daughter set me up for it. Ark Wildman, how you doing? So let's get 95 up here. Get myself warmed up. This is what you were doing last time I was benching.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do have just about as much as you do. Bench.
There you go.
I'm gonna get that 8-pack, man.
There we go. I'm settling for the pony cake. Sure, there's a 6-pack hiding there somewhere.
It's annoying because I'm one of those body types. I've got 4 real big ones.
Right.
And the top 2 are like your obliques that wrap around. And this one's a little bit bigger than the other one.
Yeah, you were talking about that last time.
And the bottom 2, maybe they just don't exist. I don't know. Because I'm already at the right weight, so I either got to lose more weight or I got to bulk up.
Yeah, they might just be genetically positioned a little bit differently.
Plus my diet. I have no doubt my diet's part of the problem.
Yeah.
I'm probably not getting enough protein. And
Oh, I know a guy. He really had no chest to speak of. I mean, it was just genetics. He definitely put the work in, but it's just genetically, it wasn't there.
Yeah. When I was 16, the thing that made a real big difference is once I started doing like real heavy squats, like front squats and stuff like that, I just like gained muscle everywhere. And I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I mean, I could try, but I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt myself.
Well, just start light.
Yeah.
Start light weights and take your time.
I still do that stuff. Like I'll use the machine in there and stuff, but I don't feel comfortable using the free weights.
Do what's comfortable for you. Comfort's a good part of it. If you're not comfortable doing it, then you won't do it for very long anyway. So yesterday was a good workout. Got a lot of back exercises in. And I did have 2 comments about my pull downs behind my head, but they're pull downs. They're not presses. Although you can do presses too, because Michael does. Twisted Pixie, how we doing? No option, no opinion on the poll. I haven't really seen much of it yet. I just started it. So let's see where I'm at right now. Okay, here we go. So should I do shirtless lifting? So I got 67% saying yes and 33% saying, oh, hell no. That's about right. There we go. Let's close that up there. So sometimes I will actually take my shirt off when I'm doing an exercise so you can see the muscles that are getting engaged, which I did yesterday on my back day, which I've done. So you could actually see the ones that are getting, that are doing the contracting and are doing the work. I did it also on a bench one time because somebody accused me of wearing a bench shirt underneath my t-shirt. So, so I was doing those lat pull downs behind the back, and I had two people comment. Both of them said it was a useless exercise and it had no benefit. And the other guy says, and I shouldn't be doing that at my age. So I went to both of their channels because I will do that when you make that type of comment. And as usual, the one had no content whatsoever, but the other one, he did have two videos from one from 8 years ago, one from 7 years ago, when he was in his mid-50s, working it on a Bowflex. Yeah, he looked in pretty good shape. So I just responded to him. I said, listen, I see, you look pretty good, in your mid-50s. You're probably 62, 63 now. Hopefully you're still exercising. And I said, and we just lift differently. And the other guy said, well, there's no benefit to it. I said, every exercise has a benefit. Every exercise requires contraction of the muscles. You can't move unless there's some muscle contracting, period. That means that you're working a muscle. So it means there's a benefit. So, but we kept engaging back and forth. And I said, listen, I go back and forth on those. I do mostly the ones in the front, but every now and then I'll throw it in the back. And that's where we kind of left it. Or some people say I should have came down, mean on them. I said, no, that's all right. They can have their own opinion. But when you do give your opinion, I'm going to see what you have. And, if it's a professional making an opinion on that, then, I'll sit there and listen to it. But when it's, somebody has no video content at all, which is 99% of the case, or he was doing stuff, 8 years ago. Come on, man. All right. I know how to exercise. And there was much anyways. Yeah, I don't think they were trolls, Arkman. I just think that they see somebody doing something that they can't do or no longer can do, and so they have to make some sort of, I guess that ain't right thing. I watch videos of people doing things that I can never do, and I appreciate it. I try not to be critical unless it's extremely ridiculous. And most of the time I won't say anything anyway. But if you're going to sit there and come from a level of supposedly the expert, you better be the expert. And if you're not, stop repeating what you heard. Somebody heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend or heard it from your mother. You ain't exercising correctly. A lot of people are just regurgitating stuff that they've seen online. And a lot of the stuff you see online is an opinion. And not wrong with opinions, but understand they are opinions. They are not written in stone. And then someone who's not into the business, I think half the people, and I'm not judging, but I think half the people that wear gloves in the gym do it because they've seen somebody else doing it. But I don't wear them because I'm not comfortable with them. And, I want to keep my hands rough. What do you think about that? Why do you think people wear gloves in the gym?
Well, some people, initially, they do it, I'd imagine, because the bars hurt their hands. But after you do it a while, you build up calluses.
Right.
And it doesn't hurt anymore. Other people, I guess they just like the way it looks, I one guy was in here one day, he had a whole bunch of gear and stuff, somebody complimented on him. And he's just joking that He's like, yeah, when you come in here, it's all about the gear. You know, he's like, it's not about the workouts.
Yeah.
He's like,
At least they have fun with
yeah,
it.
he's like, you gotta look good when you do this.
I get to think, man, spend some money and buy some workout clothes. Jeez. That's like when they accuse me of being on gear. I said, dude, I don't even buy workout clothes. You think I'm going to spend money on drugs?
Yeah.
I'm Scottish. I'm too cheap.
Anybody with
I
any-
initially put them on one time because I seen somebody who did a lot of lifting in the gym doing it. And I was uncomfortable with it. It didn't seem like I'd keep a good grip, so I got rid of them. And I started watching as new kids came in and they'd want, look, oh, so like the next time all of a sudden they had clothes.
Yeah.
Me, I want those calluses. I need them. How we doing? Day in paradise. You'll be on your own tonight if there's anything to do. I think I'll text Phil and tell him we did some organization so he understands it. There's a mysterious stranger. Strange. Would you look any stranger? I'm gonna do that with you time. I want to get one of my hoodies. I'm just gonna come in. I'll have that dark personality over. Sit there and just growl at everybody.
Incognito.
Incognito?
Or just Nito.
Needle? There you go. Needle. I think that sounds better. So, all right, I'm back. Thanks, people, for waiting. I had to re-top off. Manny, Turtles and Carry Team. We heard that before. Oh, John Buffalo. Your son is 60. He can deadlift 700 pounds. Fantastic. That's great. I don't deadlift that much. Should exercise with no rest and work to build your belly fat. I like that belly fat. It keeps me warm. All right.
That's the crazy thing about losing so much weight.
Yeah, someone's late to the thing. But here's just John Buffalo. I'm 97. He's my part-time troll. But he's in good ones. If you're taking your time like this in between sets, do ab exercises. I could tell you I'm doing that, but I'm not. I really don't need to do ab exercises because when I do deadlifts, trust me, you're doing an ab exercise. All right, and I have a tendency to cramp in that area if I do what my friend over there is doing. And I don't know if you've ever have your abs cramp, but if you did, yeah, that's something you try to avoid later on.
I've torn one, like I told you.
Oh, God, yeah, I know. As you're saying, that one's a different size.
Yeah, I was.
So
I was
that's
drawing
all right.
myself.
Just starting to get warmed up as it is anyway. Just getting the blood flow moving. Time to add some weight. Bigger and stronger you is, that's great. You know, I can't believe I didn't talk to you last year. I was reading your advertisement. And this time last year, I was suffering from vertigo. Big time. And I finally some subscribers told me about that. I started doing that. I took care of it for 3 months. I couldn't bench. Oh, yeah, no, it was like, you know, and then I was walking around like those.
Most often what that maneuver does, a combination of setting the crystals, but also like kind of uncorks that first cervical vertebrae. When I do it, I just take it.
Yeah, no, I think it was crystals.
Yeah. Well, it's a combination.
Oh, yeah.
All the nutrition and everything. Yeah.
Oh, it was no fun.
I've had.
Here, you could help me with that. You gotta research more. And just for the trolls out there, these are 45s. They be real weights. All right, let me catch back up. Yeah, I can do that. Problem is when I burn my belly flat, John, I lose strength. When I drop weight, I lose strength. And because I'm a competitor and because I'm a power lifter, all right, not a bodybuilder, I'm going to kind of keep that there for a while. Now, when I'm not really planning on doing any lifting in that, yeah, then I know. And it's diet. You want to get rid of the belly, it's diet. You can do all the ab exercises. I know, you can do all the ab exercises you want. But if you're not eating correctly, it's going to stay there. You can't outwork out a bad diet. No, I tend to eat fairly good during the week, but, you know, on the weekends, hey, sweetie, how you doing? Oh, my goodness. Hi, honey. How's my grandson doing? But I still like to, on my weekends, to have my beer and eat heavy calorie foods and relax. I mean, you got to relax. Cale Drone was an old-time strongman. We'll look him up. People mentioned in the mid-400s, well into his 70s, and that's my goal. Well, yeah, that'll do it, you know. So my goal is to stay in the 400s as long as I can. Beer is good for you. Has some proteins in it, yes. Got the molten barleys. So I do walk and go hikes. I do hikes. And on my farms and prepping channel, I'll put those out there. So when the weather's decent, I do 3 or 4 hikes a week, anywhere from about 2 to 4 miles. But running, I gave that up. And so I do the walking and hiking instead. And you can always do things to try to improve yourself. You know, right. And my last physical, the doctor, I don't know, I almost seemed mad because my sugar was fine and my blood pressure was fine. So my level of health confused him because of my age. And when he was looking at my chart before he had met me, you know, he was going to talk to me about being extremely overweight until he seen me. And then he just kept saying, well, you're a big guy. I said, well, okay, thank you. You know, could I slim down? I could. I was down at 232. But like I said, I give up strength when you drop weight like that. There's just no way around it. And because I do want to improve my standings this year, I am going to carry some extra weight with me. But right now I'm hanging right at 245, and that keeps me right in striking distance of the 242 weight class. My next meet will be March 18th in Dubuque, Iowa, and I'm looking forward to that. where I'm going to break my own record in the 242-pound class, and hopefully move it up there. Yeah, Bruce Lee was not the same sort of strength. Bruce Lee was speed. Okay. You know, that was just a whole different level. He was strong, but he was not a power lifter. Okay. There's a difference between a power lifter. You know, Bruce Lee was not Eddie Hall. That's all I got to say. $225. And the reason I'm not doing all these other exercises in between, because my goal is different than yours. My goal is to press heavy weights. So I need to conserve my energy to push the big weights. And then I want to sit there and do my burnouts on the way down. And sometimes I just do a lot of heavy rep day. But generally, I got 2 bench days a week, a back day and arm day, leg day when I sneak it in, and shoulders. And that pretty much covers everything. Hey, learn to grow your own. How we doing? Thanks for jumping in. I can't train like Bruce Lee. I don't have the flexibility. And that's not my goal. My goal is to get the number 1 slot in raw bench in my age and weight class. Actually, 2 weight classes I want to get in. That's my goal. Once I hit that, who knows? Then I can change it. I've had a lot of them go, hey, you should switch over to bodybuilder, because that's what a lot of power lifters do. When they get tired of powerlifting, then they go for bodybuilding. I said, yeah, I like my food and beer too much, so probably not. 2 1/4 went up well. Let's put up 315. Now, I have done martial arts. Matter of fact, my daughter and I did martial arts when she was younger. We had a really good instructor. They did well with the kids, and then because I liked how well he did with my daughter, I signed up for his adult class. And he was a really good instructor. Yeah, 315 will be my next lift. And then about this time, got some good music in the background. Smash that like button. Oh yeah, everybody has. Appreciate that. So I think I know who my no votes were, sweetie. If you're still on there. Like I said, I did get up earlier than usual. Mama wasn't feeling well, so we did one of those Charlie 19 tests, and she was negative, so it was good. And I said, oh, I'm up. I might as well just stay up, And then I ended up napping on the lazy boy with Binks for about an hour. So here I'm back in the gym at normal time. But I needed that nap. So how's my grandson doing? Still growing? We'll have to get him in the gym here pretty soon. Get him working out on that barbell or that dumbbell I sent him. So, I was talking to you. Yeah, I think he's gonna be big like me. I think he's gonna be a 6'4", sweetie. So keep feeding him well. But boy, he's getting so active. He's such a cutie. He turned 3 months a few days ago. He's wearing 6 and 9 months. Yep. Yeah. You'll be able to tell when he's wearing size 13 by 8th grade. And you're going to know what it's going to be like. So let me get this rolling here. So I'm taking your mama, hopefully, if she's got the energy. We're not sure if she's going to or not. My Providence High School varsity game, my buddy Walter Downey was having an awards ceremony for him. I don't know if you were still home when he came out, but he's like 6'10". And I don't know, John. She hasn't weighed him lately. So I imagine he's getting pretty chunky. I got to see him when he was about 2 weeks old, maybe 3 weeks old, Shana, when I got out there. And I imagine he's a much bigger handful now. $14 pounds at birth, John? Holy crap. There you go. He's heavy. Yeah. Well, that means he's eating good. And he's growing. I could hear him fussing the other day when I was talking to you. So I'm trying to talk about maybe seeing you earlier than later. We won't discuss that here, obviously. So, but yeah, I can't wait to see the little tyke again. The not so little tyke. Hell, he might be they'll be rolling around time we get there to see him again. Not quite walking yet, but that's coming. He's only about 9 months. So when they around 8.5 to 9 months, you all were mobile. So 3:15. Let's give it a ride. Now, since we went that far. $365. Woohoo! So it looks like so far the chat, the yeses still have it by a slim margin. Aw. Oh, he's trying to talk. He's trying to talk. He's a cutie. Okay, there we go. At that. At that. At that. And we're all set up. There we go. Calling Shy Shy. Yeah, tell her to get on there. So she can say how you say she's so cool. Ethan, how we doing? 235, first day in calorie deficit down to 233. Today down to 231. Okay. 2 pounds a week. That's pretty good. That was just water, yeah. 2 pounds a week is a good goal. I think when I dropped from 262 to 222, I did that over a period of like 4 months. It was about 2 pounds a week. But then I dropped like 40 pounds off my bench. So it makes a difference. But and then the wife goes, "You're too skinny." She don't like it when I get down that weight. She likes me at about 250. Otherwise, she thinks I'm too skinny. All right, I'll be right back. Mother Nature call. Here we go. Let's send a text. I'll start that over. Yeah. Start her again. And we're ready to roll. Had to shoot something to work here real quick. So yeah, that's a pretty good way of doing it. It's a good deficit. Now, thanks everybody for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. I'm back. Got 365 up on the bench now. I think I'm gonna do this like twice. There we go. So like I said, I did it once when I was benching because somebody accused me of wearing a bench shirt underneath my shirt, which I'm not. It's all me. And then sometimes on the back exercises, just so I can kind of see what my back looks like. It's funny, you work so hard, it's part of your body you don't see, most of the time. But it also is very beneficial for you. So let's knock it out for one, knock it out again, then probably go up to 405. And this just gets me ready for the heavy lifts. And the whole idea is when I go up heavy, pull-ups are hard. I'm tearing up the muscle, and then, the protein, they have it repair the muscle, and that's how you get bigger, and that's how you get stronger. Bodybuilders will tear up the muscle, and then they'll pump. And what they're doing is they're pumping blood nutrients in there to kind of help that process. But they're very curtailed what to eat, when to eat it, when they bulk up, when they cut, which exercise they're doing, in which muscle or muscles they're trying to sculpture at the time. So it's very hard. Powerlifting, we pick heavy things up and we put them back down. As a tall guy, absolutely. First of all, don't do what I did and sold into the fact that I was tall and had very long arms, that I would never be a big bencher. So psychologically, that kept me from benching heavy as I am now, until I decided, wait a minute. Well, I was at a meet, I just seen somebody who was taller than me bench a lot of weight. So you're your own worst enemy sometimes. So to bench heavy, you have to bench heavy. All right. Always make sure you warm up. And what is you're trying to do it? But form over weight. If you're lifting your butt off the bench, and if you're only coming down halfway, take some weight off. Not doing you any good. Don't worry about what other people are lifting. Only what you're lifting. And make sure the form is good. Yeah. So form, then start adding weight. Don't be in a hurry. 5-10 pounds a year, in 10 years is 50 to 100 pounds. So a lot of times I've heard people saying, I'm at, 275 down. I want to be at 365 in 3 months. You're going to hurt yourself unless you've already been there. I know a lot of people say, well, hey, I seen you were starting at 315 and then, 3 months later, you're at 405. Yes, because I've been to 405. It's called muscle memory. But to build it initially, and build it the first time, whole different story. So you got to be really careful about that. But if you had been to that level before, you do have the muscle memory. Your body knows how to rebuild that muscle in a fairly short time compared to how long it took to begin with. So yes, those are things to consider. Good question. So just keep at it. If you're trying to get stronger, then you're going to have to bench heavy weights. Pyramid is usually the way to do it. Do your sets of 10, and then increase weight for 7, increase weight for 5, increase weight for 3, go back to the 5, go back to the 7, finish up with the 10. That's one way of doing it. If you do that for 6 months and you start plateauing, and you might want to switch to 5x5s, where you're doing 5 sets of that heavy weight at 5 reps each. And then like once a month, you're trying to kick in another 5 pounds. That's another way of doing it. So there's definitely more than one way of doing it. I'll switch it up from time to time. Where my two eye reps at 335 and 375 is probably where most of my development's coming at times. But then like days like today, I just feel like, I'm going to go heavy. So I go heavy and then I come back down. Hey, Volgat Hornberg, welcome. Thanks for coming in. How do you personally get stronger? What's your approach like? Lots of calories. Eat at least five meals a day, sometimes 6. I think about my workout the night before. What is it I want to accomplish? When I get to the lifts, I visualize the lift and I do it. Knowing to get stronger, I have to lift heavy. Knowing I still need to do the accessory muscles. So if I want to increase my bench, not only doing flat bench, but I have to do military press. I have to do tricep pull downs. I have to do back exercises to support the rest of the bench. So if I just do flat bench, it will get me to a certain point. But by doing those heavy militaries and by doing those heavy tricep pull downs, it definitely helps me get to the next level. And you constantly got to keep yourself motivated, especially in my age group. It is way too easy. See you later. It is way too easy to let yourself start slowing down because of your age. Like I just can't. From 40 on up, I just hear people say, well, I used to lift heavy. Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with that. If you decide that you want to do, lighter weights and higher reps, nothing wrong with that either. But I think a lot of times people do that because they feel they should do that because they have turned 40, they have turned 50, they have turned 60. When I had the COVID and the vertigo mess with me, I was having that conversation. Had a lot of people tell me, you might want to start changing your workout. And I don't think they meant harm. They're just talking from the heart. But I said, I'm not there yet. So I'm going to continue to lift heavy. And that's why I do it. So a lot of it's just because I refuse to slow down. It's not how I train my clients, but this is how I train. I like where I can come in the gym and I can still put up, young man's weights. That's just basically what I'm after. Here you go. 64 ounces and decreases every time you do one. Yep. Another one at 365, then we'll go up to 405. That's probably when I'll get myself a spotter. Dun, dun, dun. There we go, at the 405, load it up. Thank you. They're not mine, they're the gyms. But must be made fairly locally because a lot of the gyms used to have these until they switched over to the rubber coated ones. I kind of like they still have these. Although I've had people say, those can't be 45s, they have holes in them. Stop it. And not that I have to have them all the same type, but it kind of looks cool. I know some people, they have to have that way. And there are some gyms where it's got to be very mixed because they don't have enough plates. And when I go down in Missouri, it literally, the last set of 45s were actually not as round. They were thicker, but they weren't as tall. So in the video, I had to show the plate. No, this is a 45. I know it looks like a 35, but it's a 45. You know, and I told the owner, I said, hey, you gotta get me 2 more plates that match. Old CD weight, they're out there. Trust me, they are out there. They'll even have them where they have to be lined up. You know, they all got to be, you know, got the Rain Man in the gym. Me, it's not necessary I have to do that, but sometimes it's fun. Oh, looks like the Knowles are starting to get ahead of it. John's going to keep his shirt on today. I think my daughter called her friends and told them to hop on and vote no. But the poll was just to have a little fun. I think I remember thinking about that yesterday after I already had a poll in there. So it's all about fun. I do appreciate everybody that pops in, and do appreciate your comments. I understand there's so many different ways of getting in shape. This is just my journey. Everybody else should do their own journey. At school, cool. If you're at school, are you at college or are you at like high school? If you're at college, I can see why you're on YouTube. If you're at high school, you shouldn't be on it unless you're at lunch. Ronaldo ex Greek freak. And that would also depend where you're at too. We get quite a few different time zones here. Thanks for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. I think I'll be able to do a little bit longer chat than usual here. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to get my power supply hooked back up. Oh, beautiful lady. I think Phil was a little miffed. Oh, you guys are putting in. The only bad thing about the gym is everybody's hooked up in their own little world. And I guess there's nothing wrong with that either. There we go. Plugged into the real deal. At school. So getting ready for the first heavy lift. Another thumbs up, thank you. 405. And I might do this twice before I go up to the heavier weights. I find my benching lifts generally get more views than my other ones. Although I think some people are thankful I'm putting other things. Did I go to college? Yeah, I went to junior college, got my 2-year degree, and then I went to University of Illinois at Chicago for biochemistry. And then at college, I met my wife-to-be, and then we got married. Before we knew it, we had a house. Before we knew it, we had 3 kids. Before you knew it, the kids are now all out of the house. We're like, what happened? My oldest was on the chat there a little bit ago. Now she's talking to my youngest. So, yeah. Well, biochemistry was my field of study. I ended up making more money working retail. But I did work in a lab environment for about 20 years. I liked labs. I like procedures. They're pretty easy. College was an interesting time for me. Long time ago. Can't believe that, I'm talking about stuff that was, 40 years ago. So I'll be going to my high school tonight for the first time. Since the 40 reunion. No, actually, we were there a couple of years ago for a mass. Yeah, one of our classmates passed away, so we had a service for him. But it's always nice to stop in there every now and then. But boy, it's a huge school now. It wasn't when I went. Yeah, I think it's time to go get me a spotter. You know, I'm live streaming. You're okay with that? I'm live streaming. You okay with that? Okay. So, everybody say, "What's up, Doc?" I warned him. I am the king of dad jokes. So yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Remember, the worse the joke, the better it is. All right, 405. Let's give it a ride. Thanks, sir.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna knock that out one more time. Got it all set up for you.
You are so kind to me.
Nothing but love. Nothing but love. So I'm gonna hit it one more time, and then we'll go up. So I think last time he lives. He's also a chiropractor here. So tad heavy, but I did do a pause because that's what you do in competition. Of course, in competition, you have people going, "Get it, yeah," and that'll get you motivated too. Oh, it looks like the yeses are getting above it too. 52% of people say yes. So far, the yes has now got a very slim lead. And my daughter's calling her friends. Please go vote no. Now, usually, the second attempt goes faster. This, mentally, you already know what's in store, so it tends to be a little bit easier of a lift. That's my theory anyway. So I do once again want to thank everybody for the thumbs up. For those coming in late, the reason for my title is you can't bench 405 after 60 years old is because of a video that Massive Iron put out, Steve Shaw, saying why you can't bench 315, and he got a huge backlash from it. And he was talking about it the other day. I said, hey, it gives me an idea. And then the other reason is I've had a few comments saying, because of my age, Sonny, I shouldn't be lifting this weight. So that was my inspiration for that title. And the whole idea was to inspire others to not fall into that trap. Yeah, Ethan, if you check on my shirtless pull down one, you see some of those comments. The guys telling me I shouldn't be doing that at my age and it's a useless exercise. And then you go to their channel, and one actually had 2 videos. That was the first. But they were from 7-8 years ago. And I said, well, hopefully you're still in shape, because 7-8 years ago, you looked in pretty good shape. And I said, hopefully you're still doing it. But I said, we lift differently. And the other one, he didn't have any comment. So I know Michael kind of got on. I'm just like, come on, dude. Now, like I said, if it was, I don't know, Schwarzenegger got on there, and the real one, don't have somebody else that I'm going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, because I'm privy to that. Then I might want to listen to it. But he did all sorts of different things. And all movement is beneficial, because all movement requires contraction of a muscle. If there's not a muscle contracting, you're not moving. So that was my inspiration for the title of the day, which I hope everybody enjoyed. Obviously, I just did 405, and I am over 60 years old, so it can be done. Now, it doesn't have to be done. I'm not telling you that you need to do this at any age, because you may have different goals. Your goals might be endurance. Your goals might be tone. Your goals might be physique. Your goals might just be feel better about yourself and be in slightly better shape. And all those are good goals. So, and I can help you with those goals. Just shoot me an email at scottishfitness@gmail.com, and I'm definitely more than happy to give you some advice. I got Jonathan who emails me every now and then, and I'm kind of helping him with his bench. And he's doing well. And a few other people emailed me, which I've given advice. Generally, if you are a member means you join, and you pay anywhere from $4 to $8 a month. Then that service is offered to you automatically. And then if you are a member for 6 months, you qualify for a free Scottish Fitness t-shirt. Just send me your address and what size, and I will send it out to you. All right. I do appreciate the memberships, because those do help my channel sustain a certain amount of income. And then, of course, super chats help. Once again, Binks would like to thank Miss Worm for her super chat last week, which I utilized to buy Binks 2 packages of really nice treats, which she loves. And then also Jason at the Angry Prepper, and Jonathan and a few others have donated to my going to Pittsburgh this summer for Senior Olympics Nationals. And I appreciate that too. I just did sign up for that and got it paid for. So registration, that was like $177, and now I got to sit there and book me a room. I just got to figure out what day I'm actually throwing. But I'll probably do that probably by the end of next week. I'll find out when I'm throwing. But that's going to be in Pittsburgh in July. I think I'm throwing around the 8th or 9th. There's a ceremony on the 14th, but I'm not going to make the ceremony. And my goal is just to throw 20 foot further than I did at state. I don't have any aspirations of winning a medal, just because there's some really great athletes out there. But if I throw into the 140s, I will be a happy camper. I'll be happy with my performance. And that's all I need to do, is be happy with what I'm doing. Of course, if I medal, that'd be great. I don't know what sort of turnout it'll be, but I know there are some people in my age group that throw a lot further than I did. And that's great, because I hope they're there so I can watch them and pick up some tips from them. Because the way you get better at something is you train with somebody better than yourself. Self-motivation is great, but I'm really, my bench started getting bigger when I started benching with some of the bigger guys. And then you just kind of feed off of that sort of environment. So that would be my suggestion, is find somebody who's a little bit better at something than you are, that you want to improve in, and listen to them and work with them. All right, we're back to 52%. So that's getting pretty close. Let me go find my spotter again. Then we'll add weight after this round. Well, my second spotter left. My first one was on the phone. And the other guy, I don't think he feels comfortable spotting me. I'll ask him. He doesn't like to be on the camera either.
Get out the package. There it is.
Oh, you can work, but one of my classmates problems. So it looks like I might have to force recruit somebody. You know, I well know I can do this. It's just not smart to do it without a spotter, and I don't want to show that. It's okay. So, just to let you know, on a spot, if I need a spot, it's 5 pounds. And what you would do is you just grab it here and you can pull up about 5, 10 pounds.
Okay.
If I
Don't-
for it.
Don't touch it until you need
Well,
to.
right. Right. You get those people that, it was all you, and you're like, it wasn't.
Right.
AJ did that to me one time after I just talked about not doing it. And then he's like, it was all you. And I went and had a chat with him outside. All right, so 4 or 5 again. Thank you.
Mhm.
See, anybody can spot you. Appreciate it.
No problem.
You were on the phone, so. I knew I could do it because I just did it.
The rare instance when your son actually calls you.
I figured that was probably the case.
See, you don't call me too often, so I'm sure when he does.
Right,
I feel special.
they're either,
You won't ask me for money either.
no. So my son called, either he's talking about something he did well, or he needs a pep talk.
Yep, that's what that was right there.
And sometimes when I don't hear from him for a while, I call him because I realize he needs a pep talk.
They got this
school.
coaching staff switched over at school for baseball. And the new guy, he doesn't know.
Nope.
And he's kind of giving him shit, even though, like, looking at all at what, you're a fifth year senior. And you got all the kids that come in out of high school. They might look great in practice and everything, that's fine. But they ain't seen a 95-mile-an-hour fastball yet. Or they, because, they haven't really used power like that. See, they're gonna go down to Arizona, they're gonna go up to California, they're facing these guys for, next year they'll be pitching with the
Hitting the ball in practice is not the same.
and so I guess you're no, I'm not a guy. You at that level. I said, you're not going to start to see this time sucker, he's gonna have ways looking. It's like, what do you do with this line? They were a step away from being in the college World Series. And that was a referee's call, or not a referee, an umpire's call that I sent home. But anyway, and he's got the core of that team left.
Right.
We're starting 3 of them for the kind of penciled in open day roster. So that's really like it's James. You transitioned from high school to junior college. Yeah, you started right away. I said, but
His thought would be, well, I'm trying to build a team
for the future. Well, because he's a fuck stick and he didn't bring any other pitching. He's short pitching. So it's going to be a shitty year. So I said, Jake, I said, you can do, you can control. I said, but after the second week of the season, he's got a team that batting average of about 125. He's going to come looking for you because these kids are way overmatched. I saw them in the scrimmage they had in the fall. None of them knows what they're going to get in the field. I mean, I remember
my daughters. I don't know about baseball players yet. Baseball, baseball. But they weren't even practicing. I called the person. I said, well, first of all, is that not what they're calling the business? We don't know what's an insurance. Right, so, well, yeah, what happens is I'm saying, I'm thinking, you're not a coach. I'm not a coach. And I said, well, if you don't scrimmage, then you'll never see what you do. I said, I always told the kids, the sign for a sport when you finish. But if you're not even practicing, I don't know if you're going. He thought he was going to go.
he said, hey,
So, I'm in on the farm. Okay, one person, one guy. He doesn't know. Doesn't know what that person.
right.
So, if I go there, I'm
Let's do it.
I haven't won it. I'll call him. Some senior at Cold Water had something. How do you talk to the senior? I said, I will. So there's. I said, yeah. Years later, we don't get really good. Steve into the office. Oh, yeah. I'm like, I said, you want to say something? No, I thought we were here. I didn't know that. So, so, daughter never invited conversation started scrimmage, which is funny fact of golf. There were better players. I understood. Yeah, she was a good player in the small field. Now she's a good player. But my thing was this: she didn't need it.
Right. Well, so we have James. So he was top looks at everything. This guy, Jake wasn't transfer portal. This guy took the job. Once they took the job, we looked at his credentials and everything. So okay, we'll get out of the portal. He actually called Jake before he came out of the portal and said, "Hey, I really want you back. You gotta have you a big part of the team last year." So he gets there 2 weeks in. He had a couple of bad practices, and the thing is, he was having some anxiety and depression. So he started seeing his counselor. But he got wind of that, and he called called into his office, do you want to be here, you know, what's the deal here? And he was, oh, so he's talking about comes from, I don't know, he's a little mad against him, but after the second week, we get a couple bad practices. He's took him out. He's been in the extra group. They have a scrimmage. Well, I'm going to get pretty close because if he starts pulling aside, Jake's an adult now. He's not in high school, so it's a little different.
Doesn't hurt.
I can't fight at the 22
Right.
year olds.
It doesn't hurt to walk by the coach and let him know who he is.
Yeah. Well, he knows what. All right, I wanted to introduce myself early on. I wanted scrimmages. Anyway, I just said, so the kid has a little bit of a problem. Well, then he laid it on. Yeah, I understand. My kid will move to senior. He had a marijuana problem and counseling and all kinds of stuff. He says, so I know where you're coming from. You'll be fine. Well, then, like I said, since the second week of the fall, he basically had him on this list of basically extra players. Not even practicing with the first or second team. We're having a scrimmage today indoors, but he's not even in it.
That sucks.
That's what the call was about.
Yeah.
So, here you got this kid, 6'4", 210 pounds. This is inside player, fastest kid in the Big Ten. In straight line, really around bases. He was a elbow injury away from getting drafted after his junior year. So
Sounds like coach needs a little head to adjustment.
the guy needed his ass whooped.
You were here the whole time.
But here's the thing, he's got a pedigree. He coached Ohio State
Yeah.
at Indiana when they went to the World Series.
Well, that's good. We'll see how the first 2 weeks go.
Huh?
We'll see how the first 2 weeks go.
Yeah.
See if we can damn.
We need to cut this out somewhere where it belongs.
So I got 4:30 on here now. This might be interesting because this is a weight that I might need some help with. And oh, John, and you must be in the openpowerlifting.org because 585. That would probably be you'd be number one. So what weight class are you number one in the openpowerlifting.org organization? Because they keep track of all that stuff. I mean, that was raw, right? Or was that equipped? I got 430 here. I could have done a second rep, but once again, I'm saving it for the heavier weight. Now, I can't have the young lady here at 430. And unfortunately, it looks like Doc is getting ready to go, so I might have to bug him before he leaves and do this a little bit sooner.
I meant 4:30. Mr. Perfect, it's you. All right. There we go. I got it addressed correctly.
They interviewed me for that last week.
Did they?
Yep.
Awesome. We got my vote. So I'm gonna try 4:30, even though I could use about another minute, but
You want to lift?
yeah, about 20 pounds worth. But I need my he's probably the only one that can spot me at this weight.
Yep, come on. You got it. All you. Ah! Nice. All that I had you there was just maybe a slight touch. No lift, just a touch.
Thanks, Doc.
Yeah, no worries. Good lift.
Thank you. Really touch it. So it felt good, and it felt doable. And sometimes you have to change your workout by who's in the gym. The one advantage going to Shorewood is there'd be a lot more people in there. So finding a spotter is not as difficult than it is here. So unfortunately, when you're doing that type of weight, you do need somebody a little more physical. I'll call it a press, but I won't call it a good one because as far as I can tell, he touched the damn bar. But he was the only choice I had. I probably should have reiterated, don't touch the bar. But come one day, I may make that trip to Shorewood. I'll have a spotter keep his hand off the bar. Otherwise, got the heavy lifts in. Unfortunately, if I don't get a spotter in here, I'm not going to be able to do burnout that I wanted to do. It's not the end of the world, but I did want to try to knock out 375, maybe 5. And I'm not sure if anybody's going to walk in here that can spot me on that. Because when you're doing lots of reps, that failure point can get pretty difficult. So for the latecomers coming here, thanks once again, thanks for a thumbs up. The reason for my title is Massive Iron channel, which I follow. He put out a video, a short one, why you'll never bench 315, and people kind of blew up on it. So he did a video going, well, I was just trying to show you if you didn't do these things. I almost said, well, it sure got everybody's attention. And I said, it gives me an idea for my next title. And then I did have a couple people commenting about, well, you should be lifting that way because you're too old. So that's where the inspiration came from the title. Obviously, when you're over 60, you can still bench 405 if you choose to. But you can put that into other things, you know. Yeah, I'm over 60, but I can still run a marathon. I'm over 60, but I can still deadlift X amount. I can still squat X amount. I can still go on a 20-mile hike. I can still do a 50-mile bicycle run. I can still, whatever. I'm still active. And I think a lot of times when people are, they get older, they stop being active because of a number. They say, well, I'm 50, or I'm 60, or I'm 70. You know, and I've had people say, well, when you're my age, I said, well, I work out with people your age, and they're in far better shape. Why? Because they move. Moving is a proven law of motion. If, object at rest stays at rest. Object in motion tends to stay in motion. Make sure you're the person that stays in motion. Hey, Arctic Fitness, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. Thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. I did 200 for 5 reps and 195 for 5, and then did 3 sets with 185. Got 7 on the first set and 5 in the last 2. And then 115 and 3 sets. A 10 on incline. Had a good workout. Doing my arms tomorrow. Good. That is a good workout. That is an awesome workout. I will peek out there and see if I have any sort of spotter. If I do, then I will do my burnout at 375. If not, well, then I'll have to redo. I'll have to do something different. And sometimes you have to do that with your workout. You have to kind of move a different direction. Adapt, overcome. My coworker, he had left. Doc had left. I had the one young lady spot me on the 405 because I had just done it, so I knew I could do it again. But at 430, I didn't want her. Maybe I should have. She would have touched the bar. But and every day is a different experience. You got to learn to enjoy your workouts. The whole idea of my channel is just to share my journey. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Of course, you do want to buy my T-shirts. I do have them available. But I'm not repackaging something going, here's MacBean super protein powder thing. It looks like Excel brand. Shh, quiet. Just put a label over it. So I'm not out here for that. I'm just out to show people that you can You can remain active no matter what age. You just have to have the will. And for those of you that may have some sort of physical difficulty in that, then you just work around it. You can always do something. Even the most simplest of exercise is beneficial for you. You know, the worst thing to do is just to stay immobile if you have the ability to move. And that's kind of what this channel is about. I do appreciate everybody for popping in. I'm gonna go take a peek and see if there's anybody that can spot me. I think there was a young man. Maybe they could still do it. I'll go find him. I should have had you spot me in the last one.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I got it up, but damn it, Doc touched the bar. Didn't want to yell at him. But he's like, well, I wasn't really going, oh, he just touched it, man.
Well, if you're struggling, I would have grabbed it, but
Right. Usually I will tell when it needs to be grabbed,
yeah,
but a lot of times it's guys.
Yeah.
It's always the guys. They'll like,
well, I've seen you do it before. so-
yeah, I wasn't helping you. Well, why was your hand on the bar?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's not like I'm going to say, well, let's try 600 pounds, see what happens.
right.
We know what's going to happen.
Once you're up and I know you're going back, I'll grab it, but
Yeah.
I'm trying not to crush it.
So I'm thinking, yeah, I grabbed the wrong spot. Or I'm doing a burnout, so maybe you might be the better one to spot me anyway.
You're burning out?
Yeah, I do. I drop it down weight and I do more reps.
Yeah.
And those are harder than heavy lifts.
They burn more, I feel like.
Oh, God, that's when I turned purple. This is actually where the development comes from.
I always got back and had a COVID the second time.
Oh, did you?
And my strength is just not there.
I tell you,
It's just my butt.
I got it I got it December of 21.
Yeah.
And initially I was over it in about a week, but there were secondary effects that messed with me for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And it was not, I mean, I'm just now getting where I'm considering I'm on the recovery back to 100%.
Yeah. When I had it the first time, it had me down for 3 weeks. And I'm not baby. Like
Yeah.
deal with it, work, sick, whatever. And it was rough.
I could tell on like a Saturday night something was happening.
Yep.
By Sunday, I said, no, this is not the flu. This is probably, I couldn't get it tested until Thursday. You didn't have all the instant stuff.
Right.
Well, by then my taste had returned, but my smell had. Tuesday was my worst day.
It burns inside
Oh.
your like sinuses.
Well, I'm sitting there. I called the wife in because I said, can you smell this? Yeah, I had a spring. I can't smell anything. She goes, I can smell it in the hallway. I said, okay, well, I know what I have. So Tuesday was the worst day, high fever. Tuesday night, I broke it. I think Thursday night, Friday, I was tasting food again. But it was a month before I could smell.
It was 2 months for me and 4 months for my husband.
Yeah,
The first time. This time, I felt physically just as bad, but it was only 5 days of feeling like that instead of 3 weeks of feeling like that. But
yeah, because you should have some immunity built to it.
yeah, like I just don't have my strength. Like I can only lift half of what I was a week before.
God, when 315 was my max lift, I was so discouraged.
Yeah,
You know.
I could do 45s on here, and I can get up to do 25 now.
Yeah. You just keep back at it slowly, it'll come back.
It's frustrating.
It is,
It's
absolutely.
so frustrating.
Yeah,
I leave and I'm like,
I'm there. I was there. Some more water. So I'm gonna wait. And the S's are starting to get it. All for 4 easy payments of $19.99. During this live, we will remove one payment so you only have to make 3 payments plus shipping and handling. There you go. That's what I need you for. Yes, Ultra Megabyte. And I see that. And I'm going, just go to your GNC or local nutrition place and get what they have available. It's all the same shit. I think it's time for my burnout. See if I can get that lady over here to help me out. So after some heavy sets, I'm going to do as many reps as I can at 375. All right, we'll call that 4.5. Thank you.
Sorry.
Well, that's all right. No, that was perfect. It'll slow it down.
You're going a little bit silent.
Yep,
Just
that was
tiny,
perfect.
Tiny.
The 4.5, I'll take 4.5 of them. But you have to do those heavy lifts. Whew. Woo. All righty. That was fun. There we go. Got to have that disclaimer. So the poll is 58% yes. 42. Well, do we have just a regular no, or are they all hell no's? Let's take a look. Oh, okay. So we have 50% no and 20% oh hell no. So the yeas have it. So coming next week to my YouTube channel, probably on back day. But then you can't see my belly bulge out. Ugh. So what to do now? Head to the store. Let the cat in the house. Hopefully everything's still good. Save those singles.
Everything's good, right?
Oh my goodness. See what else we got going on here. More massive iron. Started a while ago.
We'll see it.
Yep. So that was a good workout. Put the rest of my weights away. Oops. Right over here. All righty. I didn't see any singles, Ray. I didn't see no money. I'll do that next time. It might get me in trouble. Get reported. Now, just because I probably have to say this, the comments Lone Wolf are making about 4 easy payments, that is fiction. We were just having a little fun stuff. I don't want somebody shoot me an email asking about payment plans. So, 22 thumbs up. That's really good. Yesterday I had a good turnout too, even consider it was kind of impromptu. I appreciate that. I think I might be done with it's Friday. Probably should have asked this sooner. See what my probably should have shot this to a little sooner. There we go.
on?
Huh?
Are you still on?
Live stream, yeah.
Oh.
What?
I was just gonna ask you a question.
Okay, I'll move it out over here outside because I'm not benching anymore. Hey, Hollywood. Come say hi to everybody. Missed all the fun.
Did I?
Yeah.
What's up, gang?
I mean, you could possibly start doing scrap. But I try to stay with the old because you're taking your work away.
You're welcome. Yeah, righty. I'm ready for my close-up Hollywood. There we go. So, 2 more thumbs up. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate that. So,
I appreciate it. Sure enough, about 3. Yes, it's same thing. I always report them. Usually what's up there with the others. There are two doors, so she says, so that person, always said,
All too good.
All righty. So, yeah, one of my ladies had her page hacked completely. Kind of sucked. So hopefully she's getting a new one out here pretty quick. I think I'm going to call it a day. It's getting around noon. It's time for me maybe to go and have a lunch. If I was a little bit more proactive, I would have tried to get the wife out for a quick lunch. Hopefully she's not watching this. Tell me, you shut up. So I think I'm going to go get me a bite to eat. And absolutely. And thanks everybody for joining in. Thanks for all the thumbs up, like, subscribe, shares, and all that other good stuff. And next week, shirtless lifting. Woo-hoo.